When I was 12, I had a shoebox full of pencil drawings under my bed. It was filled with weeb stuff, furry stuff, OCs, endless drawings of my favorite animals, mostly wolves. I was that kid. And before you ask, yes, I did have all of those sick wolf head t-shirts. My greatest fear was that somebody would find my box of secrets and I would become exposed for the things I love. Oh God, no! Conceal, don't feel! When you're very young, it's easy to embrace your creative side. And I'm talking like when you're 5, 6, 7 years old and you're coloring all the time. Most of the time, an artistic child is praised and rewarded for being so talented, so visionary, so dedicated to their work. Once you start teetering into puberty, you may find that things change. Math becomes more important than painting. Your hobby, which once awarded you the title of precocious and innovative, is cast aside for impractical. Only a hobby, just for fun, etc., etc. The flaw in this line of thought can be broken down in 2 ways. 1, the assumption that to be valid, art has to be financially lucrative. And 2, that one must be relegated to doing only the things one is naturally good at, and nothing else. I believe that from these 2 lines of thought stems most of our feelings about our art being not good enough, TM, and that is the root of our anxiety surrounding our artwork. So let's talk about that today. Get into it. We got an extra long video today. Fun fact about this piece, I had a lot of art anxiety around this. I started this piece when I released my first video. So I've been sitting on this guy for like a solid month and a half. I don't know. Does time have meaning at all anymore? I really don't know. But I've been sitting on this guy for a while. And part of it was because I feel like my art style is evolving a little bit. Maybe it's not super noticeable to everyone. Maybe it is. I don't know. I have no self-awareness at all. I don't know what's going on at any given time. But I feel like it's starting to evolve in intangible ways. So part of my art anxiety is trying to hyper control the vision I have for each piece. Some people are really good at just laying it out on paper, like whatever they're vibing with at that time, they just grab it and go, and they don't overthink the individual hairs on the person's head, and they don't overthink the placement of each freckle and all that jazz. So I've been going through this weird anxiety surrounding, is my art good enough? Shocking, I know. No one else has experienced this ever. It's just me. So yeah, lots of anxiety regarding my art evolving, my art style. Do I have a style? Is it good enough? Like, who am I marketing to? What message am I trying to create here? You know, the usual. So I wanted to kind of go back in time a little bit and talk to you guys about when I first started posting my art online, which I feel like was a lot later in life than a lot of people. I know when I was younger, I was super duper into just scouring DeviantArt for my favorite fan art, and just like that was the goal. Like if I could be a prominent fan art creator in the community, that was the dream right there. I never got to it. Too anxious to share my artwork with anyone other than my very best friend at the time. So when I found Instagram in 2016, I was compelled to join this beautiful art community, which is like the lowbrow pop surrealism art community on Instagram. It's amazing. I've met so many great artists, so many great people who not only inspire me because their art is so amazing, but who support me. I don't know why. So yeah, I started posting my doodles here and there. I got really into Drawloween, which is held every October, similar to Inktober. It's run by Mab Graves. She's an amazing artist and like the mother of our little Instagram art community, I feel. So I started posting for Drawloween, and it's the best and worst thing because your creativity is flowing. You're so inspired the whole time. And then you see all of these other artists around you, and every piece is cohesive, and you can feel it in your heart when you see it. And you just can't help but feel that there's something in your work that's lacking. I think partly that's because we become close to our art, and as they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. The more we're forced to just stare at a piece for hours on end, the more uncomfortable I become with my artwork. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But yeah, just seeing this flood of beautiful creations, images, sculptures, paintings, it can be a little disheartening. And I remember at that time absolutely loathing everything that I posted. I just hated it. And I knew it wasn't like technically awful, so I posted it anyway. Yeah, I put the time and effort into making it, so maybe I should share it. But I absolutely hated my work. And I remember Mab Graves posting one day about how she felt like she was the mother of all of her small creations, and how she thought of each one of her paintings as her child. Each one was unique and beautiful. And I was just like, damn, why can't I feel that way about my work? So over the years, I worked on my style and I worked on my technique. And, I kind of grew to love my art. And now looking back, I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I did to get there and kind of overcome my anxiety in regards to sharing my work online. My goal for today is to roundhouse kick your art anxiety in the face. So let's do it. We need art and beauty for the preservation and growth of the human soul. I truly believe that, and I think a lot of people will agree. I don't care what Aunt Carrie has to say over Thanksgiving dinner to you. If you enjoy creating, create, regardless of whether or not it generates an income for you. As cliche as it may be, there is more to life than money. And I know a lot of people, including myself, are out of work right now, and it's a bold statement indeed. But doing the things that you love just for the sake of your own happiness is so important. And it's so easy to get caught up in the self-improvement culture, the hustle culture, our society, the entire world, just going all the time. So it's important to create just to have that escape. Us sensitive types really take to heart what other people say to us. It's easy to believe that, oh, maybe art isn't for you, or like, oh, just let it go. It's not really a great career choice. And, oh, maybe when you retire, you could take this up again. Or it isn't important or beneficial for people to make unless it's generating income. We live in a world where cash is king, and unless you're scheming your way into making six figures, it's not worth your time to do. I think this couldn't be further from the truth. Let's take away the dreams of living off of your artwork, take away the clout seeking, take away the kudos and the pats on the back and the compliments. If you have just spent time making something you enjoy, you should share it with the world because it makes you happy. Share it because it'll make the world a little bit better. Your voice is just as important as some other strangers on the internet. If you post, your people will find you. They may not be large in number, probably because you're heckin' weird, but it doesn't matter. Focus on doing what you love and sharing it with a community you enjoy. The only time we have is the time that we have now. Don't be afraid of any backlash because you're going to get criticized no matter what. So you might as well be having a little bit of fun while you're doing it. Don't let the fear of failure prevent you from beginning. Failure is inevitable. Embrace it and love it because it's what will help you grow. What's failure in your eyes is success in another's, and vice versa. Observe me failing right now. I literally forgot that watercolor requires water, and water makes the paper curl up. So man, this paper curled up so hard, and I had to kind of like hold it down, wait for it to dry, and then I taped it to another canvas of mine while it was still kind of wet, and then the tape started coming up, and then I had to iron the paper, which is a legitimate thing that you can do, but like not preferred in the creative process. There, the beast has been contained. Submit to my will, art. So observe me failing right now. I'm having a great time. If you could hear the audio, maybe I'll cut a little bit of it in. You could hear me laughing at myself as I'm doing this ridiculous stuff. To get over your anxiety might require the use of humor to help you cope because we all mess up. You know, we all draw bad things. We all make mistakes. We all drop blobs of paint on our creations. I do that later. Wait till you see it. but I'm having so much fun with it. People should not be relegated to only doing the things that they're best at, or the things that they're naturally gifted at, or the skills that they developed in childhood. That's it. Once you reach age 15, it's all downhill from there. You know, you should try other things. You should sing if you're a bad singer. You should play an instrument. I'm terrible at music. Just every instrument I touch just melts. But I have a ukulele. It's the easiest thing to play ever. I love it. And I'm so bad at it. But it's fun. And it makes me feel good to play it. So why not? Let me give you some examples of some of the things I do to alleviate my own art anxiety and kind of what I did to build up my self-confidence around sharing my artwork. First, I shared my artwork, my current things that I was working on, with my best friends. All two of them. Even the things I was kind of hesitant about or I didn't know what direction to go in, a lot of my hesitation, my personal hesitation with sharing my artwork in the past had been fear of being influenced by someone else's opinion. Oh, well, the hair doesn't look that great, or, oh, what are you going to do with the hands? Oh, God, the hands, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with the hands. I don't even know what I'm doing with my hands. Hands is going to be another joke, too. I hope that's okay. So in order to condition myself to get over that fear, I just forced myself to show my friends my art. And these are like friends that I truly trust, all two of them. I experienced just an overwhelming amount of support. Maybe they didn't get what I was drawing in the time. They didn't have to. They recognized it as, something valid because I made it. And I made it because I wanted to. Because I had something I wanted to put out there in the world. And I think that's a perfectly fine reason. So I started posting my own art regularly. But I also sought out other artists that I felt were on a similar skill level to me. And I enjoyed seeing what they were working on and enjoyed interacting with them. So by reaching out to other people and talking to them about their own work and complimenting it, talking about the things that I like, it helped me to embrace doing the same with my work, so that when someone said, oh, these colors are great, I wouldn't shy away so much with oh, they're really not. Maybe you should get your eyes checked. So over time, I actively sought to stop hating my work by looking at it from a more neutral perspective, instead of being so ready to just dislike everything that I created. So not by blindly embracing what I made, but by evaluating the things that I wanted to improve while celebrating the things I genuinely enjoyed about what I had already made. I started literally liking my own posts on Instagram, clicking the little heart icon. And I don't know, I think of it as like a little magical talisman. Like, if I can love this, there's going to be at least one other person in the world who's going to love this too. And that's going to make it worthwhile for me. Because while it's important to create things for yourself, I think we all seek a bit of a connection through our artwork, especially if it's so personal to us. So we want to see other people enjoying it as much as we enjoy it. That's valid as well. I know I keep saying that I don't know what I'm doing in these videos, and it's kind of true. I mean, I technically know how to draw a face. I technically know how to apply the materials to the canvas or the paper. But in terms of taking the piece from start to finish, I don't know. I have a clear vision from the beginning, and then I black out, and we got something in the end, and sometimes you just have to roll with it, and you have to allow yourself a certain degree of freedom from control. And I feel like that in and of itself can be an excellent practice for relieving anxiety, just because it shows you that if you don't stress over every single detail, you can still come out with something really cool. And I genuinely love this piece now, and I don't know if I can sell it. Something else I do when I'm feeling particularly low about my art is I'll find some of my favorite artists and I will scroll way back in their Instagram and see what they posted at the start of their art journeys. And most of the time it's very unimpressive, especially compared to their current things. And I don't do this to say, ha, you suck, you're a fraud, but instead to show myself that everybody starts somewhere, no matter who you are. As a side note to this tip, I'll also go through my newer, improved shoebox full of old artwork from when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, and see how I've improved. Didn't know how to finish a piece. I didn't know color at all. We as adults have that pressure on us of constant positive improvement. And I feel like we forget to just have fun sometimes. The pressure we put on ourselves to create newer and better pieces every time we go to post something, to constantly be moving uphill towards whatever the end goal is. The pressure is so great that we forget to just have fun and relax into a piece. I've been trying to allow myself at least 1 or 2 days a week where I can do that. I actually started a sketchbook recently, which I have not done in years. I used to be just a sketchbook person, no finished pieces, all crappy sketches. And now I've got this sketchbook where I've been kind of putting my ideas down in what looks like a finished way, but is really just a mock-up for maybe a future finished piece. And it's been so great. I've been able to experiment and just throw ideas down on paper, throw color schemes down, and it's made me feel a lot less nervous when I do go to finish a piece. I feel like I'm not missing out, or like I have to cram every good idea I've ever had into this one piece because it has to be amazing or it's not valid and it shouldn't be online. For you, this might be switching up mediums. It might be drawing with your non-dominant hand. It might be trying a different color palette than you're used to, or trying to draw features in different proportions from what you're used to. Whatever you feel like at the time. You know, it's good to loosen up and just experiment every once in a while, because you never know what you could be capable of creating if you keep yourself in a narrow box. So, there are 2 phrases I've heard in the last couple of years that completely changed the way I felt about sharing my artwork with other people. The first was said to me by a local tattoo artist who had been in the game for years, and I had been looking for an apprenticeship at the time. He reached out to me to ask me if I would tattoo him, and I said, "Oh, I'm not qualified. I'm looking for an apprenticeship right now." He said, "Oh, we'd take you on if we could, but we don't have a spot in our shop, but I really like your work." I'm like, "Thanks. You know, I don't feel like there's a space for me on here. I feel like, you know, I have so far to go with improving. There's so many people better than me." And he goes, "Don't knock yourself down. Your enemies will do that for you." I'm like, I have enemies? I'm just a Hufflepuff. But it's true. We're faced with enough opposition and hardship in life without adding to it ourselves. Final piece of advice that I got that absolutely changed everything for me was, there's room for everyone at the table. There's room for everyone. Grandpa, my grandpa, there's room for you at the table with your weird bird sketches. We got to talk about that, Grandpa, but man, they're cool to look at. There's room for everyone at the table. The world is a massive place. There's so many of us. Most of the time, if we're feeling like our art isn't reaching an audience, it's because we haven't found that audience yet. Keep going. Keep posting. Keep doing what you love, because at the end of the day, all you can really control is yourself and your actions and reactions. So if it's what you want to do, you should do it. Does Luffy think about why he wants to be the Pirate King? No, he just wants it and he goes for it. That's why he's the main character. Luffy for Pirate King 2020. I turned 30 this year, and that's why I started doing these YouTube videos. I realized I had been thinking about posting YouTube videos for 10 years. For 10 years. I slept on this for 10 years, and maybe 10 people will watch them, and maybe it won't be a viable career path, or it won't be assisting me in developing my art career in the future. But they're fun. I really like them. The only time we have is now. So don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Easier said than done, I know, but take baby steps. You deserve to be seen and heard just as much as anyone else. Fear not. Be strong. Post your stuff online. Get yelled at by some Karen. Join us. If all else fails and you're stressed out about your art, and maybe like someone put you down and that's, you know, blocking you from wanting to share it again, tell me and I'll beat them up. I'll do it. Punch them. Give them the old smack. The kung fu's not just for show. Okay. I'm done. I said my words.